नमस्कार, हम प्रोफेसर नागेंद्र नारायण आज लेकर फिर आ गए हैं हिंदुस्तान हॉटलाइन न्यूज चैनल की तरफ से बहुत ही एक एक्सपर्ट टॉक जो दैट इज द नीड्स ऑफ द प्रेजेंट आवर. First of all, we greets to our countrymen on the occasion of Ram Navami, and after that we will talk about the yoga and nuclear disaster, nuclear crisis. So, on enlighten on this particular topic, we have panel of experts. So I extend to the session to Amit Chaudhary sir.
Thank you, Mr. Nagendra ji. Before I move ahead, we will start with a prayer. To start the prayer, our Guruji, Dr. H.R. Nagendra is with us. So, Guruji, please start the prayer. Then we will continue the session.
Yes.
Om Sahana Bhavato Sahano Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamasto Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let's all work together harmoniously with love and affection, and let us generate synergy among all of us together, and let us have no enmities between one another, and let us have peace inside, peace outside, peace throughout the universe. That's the meaning of that beautiful Veda mantra.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Guruji, to start with the blessings and the shloka. So first of all, very warm greetings to all of you who are spending their precious time with us on this auspicious occasion of Ram Navami. And we are enough blessed that on this auspicious occasion of celebration of a power, we have joined together to discuss about one of the most important source of energy, that is the nuclear energy on Earth, and to discuss about the boon and bane, and not only the boon and bane, but also about the management, about the solution managements for this nuclear energy. To discuss this, we have a very distinguished panel of experts today from the different of the domains of nuclear engineering, thereafter the aero and science engineering, the life scientists, and the world acclaimed yoga guru himself, Dr. H.R. Nagendra is with us. I know that you are very eager to hear about the subject and to know that how yoga and the nuclear energy, that's a completely apart subject, almost a 180-degree subject, how they can be together solve the issue of the bane of this nuclear crisis. The nuclear energy is there. It is a very good, that is a source of a power, but all of us know that if it is not managed well, how disastrous it could be. Either it could be accidentally or it could be incidentally. Either it could be by any of natural disasters or natural calamities, or by any means of a man-made kind of a crisis. Anything it could be. Or at the end of the all, it is also to supervise the ego of certain of the world leader might be that nuclear attacks we have seen that has happened once, and how disaster it has been for the people of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So to discuss all these things today, we have the experts, and we will be discussing together that how the yoga can be a management solution for the post-nuclear leakage crisis and the attack scenarios. So I won't be being a wall between you and the speakers and the distinguished speakers today. So because we have the masters today of this domain. So let me quickly greet all of our experts today on behalf of all the people who have joined together to discuss this subject. So let me first pay my respects and greet to the world acclaimed yoga guru, Dr. H.R. Nagendra first. The Dr. Nagendra is Padma Shri and Yoga Shri by Ministry of Ayush and Padma Shri by Government of India. He is Chancellor of Swami Vivekananda Yoga Anusandhan Sansthan University, and he has served in many of the scientific domains before joining as a Vice Chancellor and Chancellors of S. Vyasa Yoga University. So he has served in the capacity of the scientific positions, and by profession earlier he was mechanical engineer. So before we proceed the talks, let me have the first blessings of Guruji first. We call him affectionately Guruji, and all of you must be knowing it. So let me first have the blessings of Guruji first into this talk, and he will be throwing us the light on about how yoga can be a possible solution for this. Guruji, the stage is yours. Let us guide into the subject and kindly bless us.
Thank you very much, Amit ji. I'm very happy to be part of this seminar on this very auspicious day of Sri Ramanavami. And we worship Sri Rama for having created an ideal social order in the country. So the Ayodhya is coming up, thanks to our Honorable Prime Minister, to be one of the finest areas where Sri Rama lived and built up this thing. So we are in an era where the possibility of a nuclear attack is a possibility. Russia invading Ukraine. In fact, they attacked to some extent the nuclear building, and fortunately it did not spoil the nuclear reactor, and the Russians took over that area so that no disaster will come back. So according to the news, there has not been any nuclear radiation leak from the nuclear reactor. But we remember that two main nuclear reactors which got burst and then had the nuclear leakage, one in Japan, another in Ukraine. And then we also know the hazards of such radiation hazards coming out of the nuclear reactors. So in Japan, when this happened, we have been working in Japan for 30 years on various aspects of yoga. And we have trained 3,000 yoga teachers and 2,000 yoga therapists. They all rushed into that area to serve the people there, to combat and prevent the possible nuclear leakage into various areas. I was so happy that the 90% of the people, apart from the government, who came forward voluntarily to deal with this nuclear leakage, and all these people worked day and night to do their best to see that the people around who were suffering are taken care of, and they did their best to see that the whole system will come back to normalcy. You know, it's a big trauma for the people and the around, and then post-traumatic problems are incumbent. Therefore, they used their yoga techniques to calm down their mind, to reduce the post-trauma, post-nuclear leakage trauma that would have spread tremendously beyond hope. Similarly, the tsunami in Andaman Nicobar, we have witnessed the post-tsunami trauma, which has caused hazards, were effectively dealt with by large number of yoga teachers who were trained in this thing. Of course, we had not developed to that extent when the Ukraine nuclear disaster was there. But what is the role of yoga when such hazardous radiation spread around? Nuclear leakage. Always, Amrit Narayan Pandey has been talking about these things right from when he was there in Kalpakam and thinking how we should be able to prevent such a thing to happen, first of all, and then by an accident, by willingly or unwillingly, as Amit told, if that happens, what can we do about it? So in Kalpakam, we had the radiation hazard testing. When the people go into the nuclear area, when they come back, people find out how much of nuclear radiation has affected their body. There is a good infrared tester. We try to find out the intensity of the radiation that could have been affected the people. If it is beyond certain level, then they are not allowed to go back again to the nuclear reactor, and they are treated separately. So by using this infrared technology, the radiation quantum that affects the body can be tracked. Then if there is a hazard that has come, then our friends started giving them the yoga practice and see that their radiation hazard is reduced. The effect of such radiation exposure could be nullified. Our Dr. Srinivasan, who is there in Kalpakam, has been one of the persons. He used the pranic energization technique to see how best this pranic field around the body can be dealt with. As you know, the IR camera catches the things which are beyond the body by using the infrared radiation, and that in a sense is called as the pranamaya kosha, the pranic body. And when there's an accumulation of the radiation that comes up, then the pranic field will get disturbed. Now we have better technologies like BioWell, based on the Killian photography, by which you'll be able to make out what is happening in the pranamaya kosha with greater detail. Every organ and system can be shown to go into an imbalance, and the quantum of imbalance can also be measured today. This is what we do here. And when the radiation starts coming up, it starts affecting different cells and genes and several other things, and it is going to probably bring imbalance in the pranamaya kosha. You know, in pranamaya kosha, I have prana, apana, samana, udana, vyana, the 5 aspects, subtle aspects of the prana, the bioplasmic energy, you can see. So that can be remedied by using the techniques of yoga that we have developed here, called the PET, pranic energization technique. In PET, what we do is first we learn how to recognize the imbalances. We first take the BioWell data, we know which organ is most affected, how much is the quantum of imbalance that it has created. All these things can be measured today, thanks to high-end technology. Earlier, we did not have these things. When we started doing that work, we took some of the things with IR camera, that data that we took, and then we gave them some yoga practice. And Srinivasan was able to show that, yes, these people who had little more exposure than normal were able to come back to normalcy using the yoga technique. What is the way which the yoga works there? It works bringing balance in the pranic field. The radiation brings imbalance in the pranic field, the subtle field, the infrared field, in a sense you can say. And that has to be reverted back to normalcy. So for that, we have developed this technique called PET, pranic energization technique. And this is the one that helps to bring the normalcy by bringing the balance in the pranamaya kosha. So now we are continuing this aspect of bringing balance in the pranamaya kosha by using the BioWell. In our Arogadama, when the people come, we take the data before, And depending on the disease, there are large imbalances that are there based on the different diseases. Similarly, today's talk of the nuclear leak, if a leaking, nuclear leakage takes place, then the radiation is going to come forth, and the thing that happens is it starts hitting our mind by sort of fear, anxiety, and concern and other thing and hustling. Then it start working at the pranamaya kosha, which brings big imbalances in the all five pranas, which govern our physiological function. And then it start percolating down to the body and can cause imbalances in different organs and systems in the body. Gene expressions may get altered. All these things can take place. And therefore, yoga first starts working at the pranamaya kosha, and we have the remedies for that. The best solution is the pranayama, in which we slow down the breath and see that the system comes to a balance. The immune system is the other one which gets affected drastically by possible nuclear reactions, nuclear radiation that may come up, and we'll be able to remedy them. We all know in cancer, we use the radiation, that is essentially X-ray radiation. And the nuclear radiation is still stronger. After the X-ray, we have the gamma rays. Nowadays, people have started using the gamma rays for detecting and dealing with the cancer solution to kill the cancer cells. And nuclear radiations is still sharper and more powerful, more intense, and therefore it can affect the whole body. And this has to be brought back to normalcy. And that is how we use the yoga dimension. So these are some of the thoughts, but these are all only in the conjectural way and with some pilot studies that we have done. But if you have to do that, then we have to have randomized control trials and exacting solutions. It can be going into the publishable things. We hope that we will not have that opportunity of getting the patients who are exposed to nuclear leaks. And we are hopeful that the present war is going to soon stop, and we'll have peace in Russia, Ukraine, and at least the nuclear disaster can be prevented. And with those few words, then I will leave the panel to bring about their points of view and see how we'll be able to deal with nuclear leak if it happens. Thank you all very much for your patient hearing, and thanks Amit ji and Nagendra Narayan, Amrendra Narayan, and Brijmarsh Mishra ji for participating in this panel. Namaskar, Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Guruji, for throwing us enough light on the topic specifically and giving your first-hand experience on in the different of our countries like Japan and all the which we have given about the crisis situations and how yoga has been meaningful for the solutions of them. Definitely, yoga is not all about the physical things that we do. There are the levels, and Ashtanga yoga, as you told, so that is the very much useful for the combating of such things. So let's hear more about the nuclear crisis and about this. So what it could be, how it could be disastrous, and what are the solutions for them that we will also be talking about. So to lead us about the topic about the nuclear crisis and all, what it is. So with us, we have distinguished Dr. B.M. Mishra. He is retired scientist with Baba Atomic Research Center, Bark, Mumbai. And he was at the peaceful uses of nuclear energy for the benefit of the mankind. So he has set up a membrane desalination plant at various of the places in the country. He has also established large size of desalination plant using waste heat from the nuclear reactors. And he has in-depth study of the non-electric applications of nuclear energy, and for which he has gone to IAEA Vienna also. He has published many of her research papers on uses and applications of a nuclear energy, and he is member with many of our scientific societies who is serving for the benefit of the mankind. So let's hear Mr. B.M. Mishra, sir, to know about what all about the nuclear energy and the disastrous scenarios that it can create. Sir, the stage is yours. Please guide us through your talk.
Thank you, Amit ji.
Welcome,
At the
welcome.
outset, I'm grateful to my erstwhile colleague, Dr. Rayan Pandey, my DRC colleague. He himself has been very much involved in the radioactive waste management so safely that there is no any exposure to the public. I also pay my deep respect to the distinguished speaker here today. It's my pleasure to be part of this webinar. Let me first tell the inevitability of nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is inevitable. Why? Because there is a talk of climate change worldwide today. And climate change is because of the greenhouse gases emission, mostly carbon dioxide, of course methane also. And these come from the fossil fuel like coal, oil and gas. So worldwide, because of this, there is a rise in the temperature of the earth. So worldwide, scientists have met and decided to reduce the fossil fuels with the renewable energy, and so that the temperature never rises more than 1.5 degrees centigrade. Of the renewable energy, solar and wind, they are renewable energy, and nuclear energy and hydro are the non-fossil energy. India has promised to reduce the fossil fuel power consumption by 230 to 40% from today's 60%. And this will be contributed by solar, wind, hydro, and nuclear energy. Out of all these four, nuclear energy is not only for power, but it is having strategic applications as a nuclear deterrent. So nuclear energy has got two aspects. The deterrent, worldwide, all powerful countries have got a nuclear deterrent, and of course the nuclear power. Today, India total power generation is 390 gigawatt. And out of that, renewable and fossil fuel contribution, including the nuclear, is around 140 gigawatt. Gigawatt means 1,000 megawatt. So slowly, this four energy will replace the fossil fuel. And India has also promised, every country has promised, that they will reduce the zero emission, they will make the zero emission by 2050 to 2070. India has promised to do it by 2070. Now, this is the role of the nuclear energy because it gives the power, what you call base load operation. The nuclear power production, the capacity factor is 90 to 95%. Unlike solar and wind, they are depending on the solar insolation and the wind velocity. And they require storage because if the wind is not there, the wind power is not there. If the sun is not there, the solar power is not there. So a lot of work is going on in the storage. But that's why the nuclear energy is being thought of a essential part of the energy mix. Now, having said that, I would like to come to this topic. Worldwide nuclear power are established with a very high degree of safety standards. Every nuclear plant has got a redundancy. Every equipment has got a duplicate or triplicate. If one equipment fails, the other will work. So there is a high degree of safety standards. All the nuclear power worldwide, they are established after a very high degree safety evaluation. Like in India, there is an Atomic Energy Regulatory Board. It only approves all the safety aspects of a nuclear power. Actually, nuclear power in general
there should be minimum exposure to the public. That's that's the way they are designed. I tell you, the limit of exposure to the public is expressed in the radiation absorbed dose. That is expressed in a RIM or millisievert. Millisievert is around, the common public should not get more than 1 millisievert for a year. So that is the standard from which the nuclear power stations are established. I feel the word this nuclear leakage. My suggestion is leakage is a continuous phenomenon. And instead of leakage, accidental release of the radiation. That is what I feel. It is a matter of consideration. Leakage means all the time something is leakage. I don't think nuclear powers are established where leakage will be continuous. Only by accident there may be some radiation exposure, and we have to consider that. I'll give an example of the exposure. Nagasaki and Hiroshima, I have already mentioned you the exposure limit as millisievert. Nagasaki and Hiroshima, the exposure was 45,000 millisievert. And of course, it has disastrous effect. Fukushima had a radiation exposure of 150 millisievert. And at this dose, you start feeling system of the bad effects of the radiation. In Chernobyl also the exposure was around 10s or maybe 20s millisievert. So problem is, there is as Guruji told, the radiation exposure or what you call a leakage, I will call it radiation exposure from the nuclear installation, because let us ignore the atomic explosion bombs and all that. Let us concentrate on the nuclear power establishment. I will say that the trouble is psychological. Unlike heart attack, unlike diabetes, unlike kidney, the disease. But here, you don't know. Once the radiation exposure is there, not on the very high level, at the high level you know. But at the lower level of, let us say, 10 millisievert or 20 millisievert, no symptoms are there. But so is the psychology because of the Nagasaki and Hiroshima and the accidents of the 3 Mile Island of Chernobyl or Fukushima. The people get scared. And there is the role of yoga, I feel. Psychology, unlike heart attack, I don't think yoga may be there, but heart attack, kidney, or diabetes, they are a different issue. Radiation exposure, not high degree of exposure, but low degree of exposure, it has to do with a lot of psychology. And definitely, yoga is going to work, as Guruji has said, that the whole issue of treating the psychological factor is coming in, and the yoga is going to be very helpful. And actually, you know that all scientists are also spiritual. Take it from Einstein to Newton. At least we have read all the literature of the scientists. They also believe in God. They also are spiritual in nature. So it is not 180 degrees apart. I mean, some spirituality is there in the science also. Now, in the end, I will say that as far as Indian nuclear power stations are concerned, the doses are taken regularly, and they are in the range of microsievert, 10 to 100 microsievert. A microsievert is 1,000th of millisievert. So there is no problem in the regular operation of the nuclear power station. Nuclear power, of course, Dr. Pandey has been actively involved in all the fuel cycles are taken very care. Nuclear power operation, radioactive waste management, and again the recycling of the effluents. So there is a closed cycle, and everywhere lot of precautions are taken. But of course, by accident, by man-made accident, or by, as Guruji said, tsunami or earthquake, these things can happen, and one has to definitely, and all these things will be playing a psychological role on the human being, in spite of all the safety factors taken. So I think this is a very good topic which has been chosen. Beg pardon? Should I continue?
Yes, sir.
You are
Please, if
audible,
you
sir.
have, you can. Please.
I'm just finishing. So
Okay, got it.
I thank the organizers. Of course, I thank Dr. Pandey. I know him. We have been interacting on this subject from time to time. And although I am very busy. I have got some problem, family problem and all that. Somebody is sick in my family. But since I have promised that I will be there with you, I just thought to be part of it. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your time. You have given us time despite the difficulties, as you have let us know. There are we are enough assured that all the nuclear establishments of India is in a good hands, and all the set patterns that you all people have initiated. So definitely we are enough secured and safe. But for just for a general concern of people, like there are many of the people who are not much aware about this, I would like to just give you a 1 minute throw on that. How disastrous it could be. Like these all nuclear establishments are generally in the outskirts, but is there any kind of unsafe feeling one should be there in the cities where these establishments are, or what are the symptoms if he comes in the contact of the radiations? So what are the symptoms, first hand symptoms that he will see? Okay. Sir is disconnected, perhaps.
No, sir is here.
Okay.
Hello.
BM Mishra sir is connected.
Disconnected, sir. Disconnected.
Okay, not an issue.
What happened?
Okay.
Hello,
Okay.
Mishra, sir.
Okay, we will continue again. I have the questions for him. So, but in the session, let's move forward. So, to throw us more light on the topic and let us know about the subject, we have Dr. Prahlada Ramarao sir, Padma Shri he is, and he was with DRDO. He was the chief controller and in research and design, aero and science at DRDO, Ministry of Defense. Currently, he is pro-chancellor of Swami Vivekananda Yoga Anushandhan Sansthan University, Bangalore. And he was awarded Padma Shri for his outstanding contribution to science and technology domain in 2015 by Honorable Government of India. He was also awarded the Scientist of the Year by DRDO. He has served as a director to biggest research lab of DRDO, that is DRDL, and led various of missile projects. I know him that he has worked with distinguished our missile man and our earlier president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, also he has worked with. He foresees an interdependent linkage between our ancient knowledge and modern science also. And he was very actively interested in modern way of implementations of our ancient old treasured knowledge. So let's welcome him on the dais. Dr. Ramarao sir, the stage is yours. Please
Thank you.
Welcome,
subject.
sir. Welcome.
Thank you, Amit ji. Are you able to hear me, all of you?
Yeah, you are
Yes,
audible,
sir.
good audible,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
I don't have any screen, but I will share my thoughts because I got into this nuclear field when Dr. Abdul Kalam became my boss. That was in 1984.
Great.
So
Great.
he introduced his favorite statement was strength respects strength. He says if India has to be respected by the world, India should be strong.
We cannot be weak and expect the world to respect us if we are weak. So he says, strength respects strength. So that's how he started. And he brought three major disciplines in the country together. One is nuclear science with the Department of Atomic Energy, then the Department of Space, then Department of DRDO, Defense. These three streams he brought together. He was the one who saw it homogenized in the country, and he showed that these three are interdependent, number one. Number two, they also support each other. Support is not that they are independent, they are not vertical, they will support each other. So he did a wonderful job. So what Dr. Guruji was telling, he has very nicely brought about how the nuclear and yoga can be together, how we can handle it. Also, I like what Dr. B.M. Mishra brought out, operational problems, there will be radiation, or there will be exposures due to natural exposure of radiation. There may be accidents, man-made accidents, leakages, natural disasters, anything can happen. So in those conditions, how do we handle it? If it happens, it happens. At least we should be able to handle it. So one is we have the physical routes, how to handle radiation, which I'm sure Dr. Pandeyji, Dr. Mishra, they know very well. They will be telling us how to handle it using physics, biochemistry, and mechanical engineering. How do we handle it? But we, the yoga people, I have been with Nagendra Guruji since about 10 years. And how you see that yoga plays a role in the nuclear radiation, whatever reason. Radiation is there in us, then how do we handle it? So it is, see, normally we all feel that yoga means asanas. It's popularly, everybody thinks yoga is centered around asanas, pranayama. So that's why it becomes more physical. Asanas and pranayama are more physics subjects. But what we are saying, which very correctly brought out by Dr. Mishra, is the mind. How we can work in our mind, with our mind, to handle this particular disaster. So it will be, we have to see how mind gets prepared by such talks, what we are talking today, how we do the thinking, that yoga, how we can control effects of radiation, effects of human, not only physical body, but the mind also. And how do we think? How we can make sure the mind control all the body functions. See, all the body functions, knowingly or unknowingly, are controlled by the mind and the brain. So if you are able to handle the mind and the brain through the discipline and intervention of yoga and pranayama, you can control the body and the mind. That's what even Guruji told. Thousands of people were there at the nuclear field, but they were not affected because they were controlled by their own mind and body. So we are saying the mind and body, the mind and the brain of the human being is, if you can bring it under your control, you can handle any disaster, including nuclear disaster. This is what is the message I thought I will share. I am convinced this will happen because it's already happening in the medical field. Everybody looking at how the brain and the mind can affect the health of a person. Happiness is already coming. This will also apply to the nuclear field, and I am sure more and more will be told by Dr. Pandey, and we can sum it up. And I thank all of you for such a nice opportunity. And on this particular day, we are all peace lovers. And what Dr. Kalam told is, this all the nuclear is only deterrent. We don't want to use it. We are not the first users. It will be only deterrent. We say we have to show our muscle, but we don't want to use it. So thank you very much, and wish you all the best in today's talk.
Thank you, Dr. Ramarao sir, for letting us know about the Sutra Vakya, that's what we call of uh, Dr. Kalam. And you himself worked with him, so that's lovely to hear from you that what all the vision of our great leaders are. And I think that's the similar of a vision of Dr. Bhava was also.
Yes,
That
yes.
until and unless we are not powerful, until and unless we don't have the bomb, so whether we are using it or not, whether you are going to make it or not, at least you announce that I'm going to make a bomb. I think that was the situation at the time of 1962 war was, if you can correct me. So definitely that's a one aspect of it. Another aspect is that if we have the source, so by any of the means, once in a blue moon, it might be. So let's be prepared for this. And it is a complete of not only a physical of the things, but a combination of a complete of a body, mind and soul. That's all the complete of the three things is that is going to make the solution of it. So how it is going to make the solution, what are the things associated with it, what are the elements of the yoga which is going to solve the issue, and what all the things that we should keep in our practices. So this all Dr. A.N. Pandey sir is going to talk us today the specifics of the management solution of yoga for the solution of post nuclear leakage crisis. So I will be inviting Professor A.N. Pandey sir. But before of that, let me tell you quickly about him. He is right now the director of Spirituality Awareness Program. He is operating from Hyderabad. And earlier he was with BARCF, the Baba Atomic Research Center facility at Kalpakkam. And he has degree in process equipment design, and he is a mechanical engineer himself. He has a special interest in joint venture of a science and spirituality together, and he has done lots of work into this. This is not nuclear is not only one, but he has worked towards the H1N1 side, towards the COVID. I think last year we have done a complete of a webinar where how the ionized plasma could be a solution for the COVID. That's what we had a discussion, and lots of work has been done on that. He has developed various of methods of yoga under the Masters of Yoga and Spirituality. He has published international books on treatment of H1N1 through yoga. And on the current topic itself, he had already written a book way back. This is not a new thing. He has already thought about this, and by grace, he has given me this book, I think, in 2013. He has handed over me this book, and since then I have read it, I think, twice or thrice about all of this. So, and thought to let you know about all what all this is. This is a yoga solution to manage the post-nuclear leakage crisis. That's a complete book is where all the things are written in detail. He has also written the management aspects of Hanuman Chalisa, and more than 3,000 ebooks are written by him, and it is published under various of international publishers. The details of the books, the ebooks, thereafter the papers, his work, all the things can be get through his website, that is yogicconcepts.in, yogicconcepts.in. We will you can get a link of this and get a detailed understanding of about all his work. So I will be inviting him on the dais to let us know what are the aspects of a yoga that is going to help for the post-nuclear leakage crisis. Apart from that, if you have a question, so there are few questions that has been already been asked, and we have already taken him into the session. But apart from this, if you have a question, so you are welcome to put it into the comments. We will take these questions after the session. Or if you want to join the session to discuss in live, so a WhatsApp number is being displayed in under the screen. You must be showing it is 9654596573. You can send your name and question on this WhatsApp number. We will send you a link and can invite you for a live discussion with Professor Amrendra Narayan Pandey on the subject matter. So let's greet Mr. Amrendra Narayan Pandey now to let us know about the subject and the solution aspect through the yoga. Pandey sir, the stage is yours now.
Welcome, sir.
Please start the session. And Mr. Nagen Narayan ji, please run the slide up, sir. Yes.
Thank you, Amit ji, for
Welcome.
nice introduction.
Welcome, sir.
First, I offer my pranam to Guruji and pranam to Dr. Mishra ji, and also pranam to our Rama Rao ji, and my namaskaram to all of you who are in the dais, especially Amit ji. I am very thankful to you because you have taken today this topic because of the book which I have handed over to you, perhaps 2013 or so. This book was written in 2011.
Yes, sir. It is a date.
Under the
7th of October 2013. That's the date you have handed over me this book.
Correct. But this
yeah,
book was
Taram
written in 2011. Yeah, yes. Under the guidance of Dr. H.R. Nagendra ji, because at that time only Fukushima, before that Fukushima, this problem had happened because of catastrophic effect of tsunami as well as earthquake. And fortunately, the Japanese, they have already got the training with that SVR Institute, and in Japan as well as in India, and they had a troop trained sort of squad for tackling this problem. But that time, during tsunami and the earthquake time, there was a hue and cry by the anti-nuclear lobby that why not close all the nuclear installations, not to have this kind of sort of bane of a post-nuclear leakage crisis, better to live in the dark age. But then only this struck to me, and we have written a book. I have written a book under his guidance, or the guidance of Dr. H.R. Nagendra ji Guruji, that is not the solution. Closing down the nuclear installation is not the solution, because nuclear installation is a sort of a boon for the human race. As we know that a handful of uranium is equivalent to the tons of coal. So that way it is a very good boon for the human being. But at the same time, it has got the lingering of post-nuclear leakage crisis, which is bound to come once in blue moon. Why I call blue moon? But whenever the conditions are favorable to PNLC, then only it will come. Not that it is going to come regularly. So as what are the conditions under which it can come? As Dr. Mishra had rightly pointed out, that there is no problem whenever we are using nuclear power plant for peaceful purposes. There is no problem at all, because everything is guided and all are going in the right direction. So post-nuclear threat is not at all there. And whatever problems are there, all are taken care with a certain technology or certain aspects of that. But whenever there is a human error, like it happened in Chernobyl, so that time only this problem has come. Like any nuclear threat happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that time problem came, and like earthquake or tsunami happened, and it can come. So we know the reason. We know that nuclear during that time, means whenever regions are favorable for PNLC, it will come, but we should also have the solution to tackle it. As Mr. Ji was telling that, or even Mr. Dr. Rama Rao was also telling, that mind is the main where we have to tackle this. This is because there is impact of nuclear PNLC, especially based on this attack will have certain sort of phenomena. And this is the slide will show here whatever Dr. Mishra was telling, that there is no threat from conventional nuclear power plant, or even going for the recycle program also, because we have got shielding effect and all that will lead can give the shielding of beta rays, and aluminum can give, and lead can give for the gamma rays. And for free neutrons or fast neutrons, even water and concrete, can also provide the shielding. So that way we have got manageable aspect during the peaceful use of nuclear energy. But the problem comes once it is having a huge amount of free neutron or even a large amount of radionuclides like transuranic dust or even plutonic dust and all, because they are going to pose the problem. So what happens after this impact way, we see there is a great impact on our 3H, we call it. Yogic term is 3H, because everybody has got head, heart, and hands. Head is nothing but left lobe, heart is nothing but right lobe, right brain, and hand is nothing but our spinal cord. We all are made by these three things. And this nuclear Mr. PNLC will going to give the impact. Impact, I mean to say that there only all depletion, all of our nutrients are getting depleted. This is because mind is getting phobia, mind gets a sort of phobic anxiety, mind is full of fear of death, mind is having a depressive mood and all. And because of that, mind is so diseased or so much depressed that it affects our central nervous system, which gets broken almost all. And by central nervous system, once it is very weak and poor, then naturally our other four systems like circulatory, respiratory, digestive, and respiratory system will also get the impact. So that way, this 3H is completely paralyzed whenever there is a PNLC. And in that, what affects the cell system? Because once the central nervous system is paralyzed, naturally the cell of the body will get a sort of a deficiency, and there will be oxidative stress, plenty of oxidative stress in the bloodstream. What is oxidative stress? It is a sort of free radicals of oxygen. The oxygen having an electron of uneven number, or we can say it is a reactive oxygen. What it does, once it is plenty, it will wash away or it will eat our all nutrients like our antioxidant as well as glutathione. Antioxidants what we get mostly in fruits and vegetables, and glutathione is a key point between the cells and our higher portion of the body where we are going to have the tissues. So that aspect is at the root of the cell. This nuclear PNLC is going to attack, and that way we are losing our confidence level, we are losing our central nervous system's control, and by that way we are phobic, we are having lots of anxiety, even fear of death. And naturally this radiation damage, it is going to work on the bloodstream, and people are likely to get the blood cancer. As Guruji has nicely pointed out, the Arogya Dham at Vyasa has got many instruments which gives the sort of, as soon as the patient goes there, they get their whole history of the diseases and even percentage of diseases what they have. And as after 1 week treatment from Arogya Dham, getting the treatment of PET, pranic energization technique, and getting the other MSRT and all, they equipped or they get plenty of changes, and the same instrument will show what was used 8 days before. The same instrument will give the positive answers that what is their health criteria. What it means that yoga works in the cell level, at the cell level, tissue level, and other system of digestive level, even respiratory and excretory system and circulatory system level. So that way yoga works in all the levels. And what is our problem during PNLC? That all levels are very poor. All levels are getting disease. So we found that yoga is the best possible solution to manage post-nuclear leakage crisis. And by that way, we have a thought of that book is also what Amitji was showing. It is written under the guidance of Dr. H.R. Nagendraji in 2011. And of course, that it was circulated also. But that time, yoga was taken as a sort of religious domain. It has a name under religious domain. 2010 or 11, I'm talking. And at the same time, yoga was taken as a only asana, mostly asana, and little bit of pranayama. That was the concept of yoga. So it didn't get much sort of attention to the others. But thanks to our Prime Minister and UNO that they have now introduced a Yoga Day, and by that way awareness of yoga is coming up, and the people are getting aware of the yoga. But still people have got not a full-fledged concept of yoga. So in that way, other system, as I said, antioxidant, we are getting in fruits and all that also get depleted. Glutathione is also getting depleted. If deficient, as I mentioned to you, that whole system of the body, 3H, is getting paralyzed. Now, we'll see that not only system, but our glands, like thyroid gland, thymus gland, even bone marrow, and all are affected. That's what this slide describes that one. Now, we will see that so far we have understood with the example of what Guruji was telling in Japan case, and that was nicely tackled with the yogic force or with the people those who are trained, and they have only tackled with others also. They have tackled the crisis in Japan when Fukushima was having the problem of post-nuclear leakage crisis. Now, question may come into the minds that, okay, yoga could be, but how far, what is the basis of yoga? And whether the yoga is scientific or not? And how far yoga is giving the deeper concept, and what way yoga can be believed to have a sort of solution for post-nuclear leakage crisis or any other crisis, like even cancerous disease and all other, it could be a sort of solution. So how yoga means that, and now we are going to have the analysis for how yoga, what is the basis of yoga, and how depth yoga works in the limbs of the body, or how yoga can be taken as a real source of treatment or solution for post-nuclear leakage crisis. As you know that yogic system, which Mr. Yoga is eightfold yoga I'm talking, not only pranayama and asana and pranayama. Eightfold yoga means what Patanjali has given, starting from yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So what is the basis of yoga? As you know that it is not a new theory, new concept or new science. It is very, very old science, and Lord Krishna had mentioned this in the Bhagavad Gita. He told Arjuna that yoga was given by him to first to Surya, sun, and then it was given to the Ikshvaku, and then Manu, and then slowly it got disappeared. Means it was not at all used because all people, they have forgotten to that one. And that yoga he was teaching to Arjuna in the war. So that way it is very old science, but we should know the basis of the yoga. So what I'm telling, that the basis of yoga is the basis of what Paramatma, or what we call scientifically, the people may say that what is the reality or what is the absolute. So how absolute, with the controller of the whole universe, is working in the universe, and that controller gives us his grace or glory with certain nodal points, and that way we are getting the grace of glory grace or glory of the Paramatma or absolute or truth. So this model was developed, and this model indicates there are 8 nodal points or 8 nuclei in the universe. We from through all the 8 nucleides, we can get the grace or glory of the God, and these nucleides are distributed throughout the universe. And here we can get the explanation that God himself is Bindu number 2, because this is Bindu concept, and we have developed this one based on the certain yogic books and all. That the Bindu concept describes that universe has got 8 nodal points, 8 nuclei. A first nuclei is nucleus is for Paramatma himself, and once he wanted to project the Vishwa, his dream was to have the samsara eko ham bhavata bhavantu. Then he had projected himself his Swarupa as window number 2, his Swabhava as window number 3. Swarupa and Swabhava, from there only, window number 2 and 3, whole Jagat, all universe started. And as you know that one of the prayers says, Purnamada Purnidam. Purnamada means it is, Purnamada is for Bindu number 1. Purnidam is from Bindu number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All is Purnam. Because from Purnam Bindu 1, all has come out. So that way, we get the sort of manifestation of God's grace we get through all the Bindu. Some may ask the question, how to believe that only 8 Bindus are functioning and what is the correlation with that? So for that, we will go to the Veda, and this is the, for in our brain or human system is the same 8 Bindus or 8 nuclei are there through which we get the grace of the Lord, grace of the Paramatma. Because this shows that Jatha Brahmande Tatha Pinde. Means our Pinda, our whole human system is like Brahmand only. So that we are getting here, that how Jatha Brahmande and Jatha Pinde are valid. Now, we'll see that Veda tells the root of all things is only Akshar Padarth. Akshar Padarth means, which is, name itself is Akshar. There is no chara, there is no sort of destruction in that. And Akshar Padarth are 3. One is Brahman himself, second is Atman, and third one is Prakriti. All 3 are eternal and infinite. It cannot be whether we are having a Brahman or not. When whole Brahman is dissolved, which we call Pralaya, then also the Akshar Padarth, means the Brahman, Atman, and Prakriti will exist. Whether means during having the creation or even after the dissolution also. So that's why they call Akshar Padarth. And Akshar Padarth has got 8 domains through which we are getting the glory of God, Paramatma, and through these nuclei only we are going to evolve also. So this right hand side of this slide, it has been shown that Brahmanhood, that is Bindu number 1, has got 3 nodal points or nuclei. That is shown here, that Bindu number 1, 2, 3. 2, 3 is very common. One means 2, 3 has got 3 parts, we can say, upper part, middle part, and lower part. So upper part of 2 and 3 combines with Brahmanhood. So that way, Brahmanhood has got 1, 2, 3 nuclei. What I mean to say that if we have to reach to Brahman, we have to evolve at Brahmanhood domain of 3, 2, and 1. And that is given in the Veda. All that is 1 number is Kevalya, 2 number is Ishvara, 3rd is Hiranyagarbha. And unless we understand these 3 things, we cannot go to the Brahmanhood. Similarly, we say that Atmahood. Atmanhood is the middle of 2 and 3. Atma is nothing but soul. Soul is the linking mechanism between Brahman and Prakriti. So we can say that it is interlinking these two. And we know that Prakriti is only going to make the whole creation. So Prakriti is the managing director, and Brahman is the controller. In between that manageable things are given by the Atmahut Tattva, that is 2 and 3, which is major one. Similarly, Prakriti functions under the 3 nuclei, that is again lower portion of the 2 and 3, and at the same time 4. Now here everything, all the scientific aspects, yogic aspects, we can concentrate on these only 8 nodal points of Akshar Padarth. We can say that Akshar Padarth and Akshar Padarth only provides the 8 limbs of in the universe for energy distribution, for glory distribution, as well as for evolution. So they are vice versa, we can say. So because of Akshar Padarth only, there are 8 nodal points in the universe, and at the same time, 8 nodal points of yoga, Ashtanga yoga, what we say, this has got established. So that way we can say yoga has got the basis, and it's a very old science. It is not a new one. So with that, what already Lord Krishna has mentioned about that one. Now, next slide will give that what I was telling, that yoga also has got 8 limbs. Akshar Padarth has also got the 8 limbs, universe also has got the 8 limbs, and that way all are resembling with each other. Now let us see that how far science has evolved for that one. As Amitji was mentioning that we are also interested, and Swami Vivekananda had mentioned earlier. Once he was in the on a foreign tour, he used to ask the scientists that work on Akasa and Prana. That time scientists could not catch hold of his words, but ultimately they have worked on the same system, Akasa and Prana, and partly they have evolved. So here, last column of the this one we are showing, that this science has also evolved, and they could understood only the domain of Prakriti, what we call Bindu number 2, 3, and 4, as we have already shown that by that way. And they have also evolved that Bindu number 2, 3, 4, what they have evolved is called as a quantum theory or quantum mechanics. And what is that Bindu number 2 and 3 middle, that Atma soul level they have evolved, that is their field theory. So only quantum field theory they have so far evolved, and based on that, all technology, other things are working. Still they are struggling for string theory. String theory, perhaps string theory they will get, or they can go easy, they can move in an easy way if they take the help of Upanishad or Vedic concept, where Brahmanhood concept is described as 1, 2, 3, and that concept will give them a better idea to evolve at a string theory. That is what we feel, and that way of we have to interact each other. But Swami Vivekananda, why he was hinting, unless, and that's what there was a dream of Swami Vivekananda, he used to say that the best of the West is the science, and the best of the East is yoga and the spirituality. Both should have the common platform, and Vyasa under the guidance of Guruji, that kind of platform is being built. So this slide, and one more slide of what I was telling about particle physics. Yes, particle physics. So how particle physics, they are resembling with the nature's work, or we can say nature's work is nothing but quantum physics. So particle physics, table of particle physics we have taken, and with that way we just try to analyze that particles are nothing but it is we have summed up in the human brain, that is Bindu number 2 of nature's. Nature's Bindu number 2 is a lower part of the Bindu 2, 3. So there only particles are grown. And Bindu number 3 is, for scientists, this is a force carrier. Force carrier is nothing but when the particles are getting interacted, then there is a carrier, there is a sort of messenger which can, or there is exchanger which can take the force in between particles interaction. So that is window number 4. Force carrier of particle physics table is window number 4, force carrier, and particle at window number 2, and force involved in window number 3. So these are resembling, and this particle physics table is quite endorsing the concept of our Prakriti, or we can say that Akshar Padarth, which I was mentioning about Prakriti domain that is being taken care. So we have understood that yoga has got the basis, very old basis, not only at the root level. It is very much resembles with Akshar Padarth, as well as whatever way universe is functioning. And the one thing is there, universe has got a very systematic law. So all are working very in a systematic way. In case of now, we come to the utility of yoga. As we have understood with the previous speakers that yoga is a solution, that they also confirmed, and it is now so far we have discussed that it is yoga has a basis and all. But what is the utility? Utility in the sense, how far other related questions of nuclear post-nuclear leakage crisis can be tackled. I have been given one question. Why I brought this slide? This is just to answer the certain questions related to PNLC. One question, one person, perhaps Dr. Vishwanath from Pune, he is supposed to be perhaps a spiritual thinker or spiritual master maybe. He has posed a question: do nuclear weapons affect Vibhu or Anu? What is meaning that Vibhu and Anu both are, Anu means atomic particle, and Vibhu means a sort of Ishvara, what I was calling in the first Brahman domain, so that is Ishvara, is Vibhu. So Vibhu means Ishvara, and atomic particles has got the same point of manifestation, and that is what manifestation. Then he's putting the question, he's asking the question whether both will get affected or one will get affected. So for that purpose only I have mentioned that one. And here I have mentioned that that Vibhu and this whole things are just like Akshar Padarth domains we have again repeated here. And here we can see that Vibhu and Anu are window number 2. At 2 means in middle portion of the tube, where that is the domain of Atman. So how these 2 points can be together? This is because there each point, as I was mentioning, that there are 3 layers of window number 2 and 3. Top of the layer of 2 and 3 attached to the Brahman domain, and bottom layer of the 2 and 3 attached to the Prakriti domain, and middle layer is for only for this Atma domain. So in Atma domain, both exist. Both means Anu and atomic, Anu means atomic particle and Vibhu. Now, as per the yogic concept, the window number 2 itself is the starting point of Brahman, means our whole creation. So post-nuclear crisis is so strong, it goes up to the middle layer of the Akshar Padarth creation, or you can say that from where that universe starts, that level it goes, and their atomic structure or atomic formation, atomic particles formation will certainly get affected. Anu will get affected, not the Vibhu. Why? This is because Vibhu is a sort of mirror view of Paramatma, Param Vibhu, and that's why Paramatma, there is no effect of anything of the universe, whatever we are going to do, whatever way we are going to destroy the universe, still Paramatma will exist unless he wants to have the dissolution, the things will exist in a very haphazard way. But then what will be the impact? Impact will be certainly PNLC if working, and that Anu is getting that portion creative or causing portion. From there only anything is getting created. So that portion is getting affected. Then naturally there will be much worse global warming. There will be new kinds of viruses, new kinds of bacteria. Those things should be there. But Vivo will not get affected. So that's why it is the utility of yoga, and the yogic way we can understand that one. Second question was posed by Professor Prakash, or perhaps I think from Shimla. So he has posed the question that whether yoga can nurture or can minimize or can dissolve the ego of world leaders, and by which yoga it can be done. So for that, I thought better to bring the concept of Swami Vivekananda ji, and what Swami Vivekananda ji has given a good model in way back to 1896 when he talked about in London about the Advaita Vedanta. There he gave this same model. I have brought it here. He says that the whole Paramatma means a sort of relation between Paramatma and the universe as well as Prakriti is shown by this slide. He is telling that imagine that Paramatma is a crystal clear glass plate. And in that crystal clear glass plate, there is another crystal clear glass plate of Brahman, or we can say that the universe. And in between these two, if suppose we insert a plate consisting of time, space, and causation, that is the limbs of Prakriti. If that is introduced, then whole thing means the universe becomes not crystal clear. It has got so many mismatch. Here A is shown as a Paramatma domain, means crystal clear plate of Brahman. B is shown for the universe, and C is for Paramatma, for Prakriti. So what he was demonstrating that if C is taken out, then whole universe is as clear as Paramatma. Paramatma clarity will have the universe. But unfortunately, that C is introduced, and because of that, all mismatch is there. Can we say that C can be removed? We cannot, because this is also Akshar Padarth. Prakriti is Akshar Padarth. Paramatma is Akshar Padarth. Brahman is also Akshar Padarth, which, Atman is also Akshar Padarth. Through those ingredients, only Prakriti takes so many atoms and 23 elements, and then form the sort of we are being created. So we cannot change the Prakriti because of it has got the hold in the Akshar Padarth, and that Prakriti is also eternal and infinite. And what to do? The tattva in that, time, space, and causation, can be changed. And there only yoga gives a sort of clear picture that how to change the time, space, and causation. So that has been shown here. The time, space, causation is nothing but the limbs of the Prakriti, which we have shown already in Akshar Padarth. And the time, space, causation is nothing but our three inner instruments. Mr. Below number 3, 2, 3, 4, we can say that 4 is manas or mind, 3 is intellect, buddhi, and 2 is our ego, atma. So, ahankara. So now, if the man, buddhi, ahankar, or we can say mind, intellect, and ahankara is ego is nurtured or it is managed by some means, then naturally the Prakriti hold or Prakriti what is going to have the mismatch of between Paramatma and Brahman can be minimized. Now, the answer for the person, for the professor, is that only, that our ego, which is existing at window number 2, can be nurtured, can be modified, can be dissolved with the help of yoga, because yoga starts working from the Prakriti level, nature's level, then once we get evolved in the nature's level, then domain, then we go to the Atma domain, and from Atma domain we have to go to the Paramatma domain, or that is Brahman domain. So these are the evolution process, and by evolving our Prakriti, our nature itself, by purifying and energizing the tattva in that, means about man, buddhi, ahankar, or mind, intellect, ego, then we are going to have the better scenario of the world. So that by that way, yoga can help to minimize the ego, or reduce or studying the ego for world leaders as well as every individual. So that is the answer for that professor. And this way we can say that, but another question was, why which yoga? So here, especially for world leaders and all, those who are decision maker and all, they should have the Ashtanga yoga completely, not only pranayama and asana and pranayama, but they should go for even antarang yoga. Actually, yoga are of two types. Whole Ashtanga yoga is divided into two, as our Vyasa has nicely given a sort of clarity in that. So Bahiranga yoga is up to 5 limbs, and the rest of the 3 higher limbs are in Antarang yoga, that is Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So that Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi part, which that also has to be inculcated, or that has to be practiced by the world leader or decision maker, for just to have a sort of peaceful world and to have a sort of better, pleasant world. So this is the answer of the first person. But next question was there. Of course, this slide, of course, we have not prepared for that. But question was there for my friend, classmate, engineering classmate, by his name is JSP Pandey, and he was my classmate engineering time. He had pointed out a very good question, that what age which yoga should be followed, and what radiation level which yoga should be followed. So this, without any slide, I will give the sort of answer that yoga normally should be followed between up to 30 years of age. That Bahiranga yoga, they should go to get trained, and after a certain age, after 10-15 years of age, they should have, and in the beginning they should have dynamic yoga. Dynamic means most of dynamic asana they should follow, then pranayama and Brahmari, etc. So up to 30 years age, we can say that they should follow the Bahiranga yoga. After 30, they should get involved, or before that also they should get involved, but certainly after 30, they should get involved with the Antaranga yoga slow as and when time permits. That is the answer. But for his answer of the radiation, there is no particular demarcation we can give. This is because all the time this radiation is very harmful for each and every corners of the body, as we have seen 3 heads, as we have seen the glands. Though for glands, medically we give the iodine tablets and all, so many other tablets we are having. But that is not going to retain the level of the glutathione and antioxidant because of the excessive oxidative stress. So that mental condition, as our previous speakers were mentioning, that mental condition has to be uplifted, it has to be made strong, so that there should not be any phobic anxiety, there should not be any fear of death, there should not be any depression at all. With this, I am concluding my talk, and if further questions are there, that can be raised. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for giving us the wonderful light on the topic, and yoga as a total solution for it. So it is not just the physical aspects of yoga that common people are thinking of. It is a concept of a complete Ashtanga yoga. Hope it is the right thing that I'm talking about. So, and you also rightly said it is the Bahirang and Antaryang, though 2 types of yoga is. There are few, I think there are the not comments, but it is, yes, the appreciations are there. Mr. Sandeepan, thank you for appreciating the event which we have included. And Bharati Yoga Vidya, Nirbij Samadhi in context of time and space. Okay.
I couldn't get a question. Please repeat that.
Nirbij Samadhi in context of time and space. I'm also not getting what.
Time and space, we cannot reach the samadhi. As previous slides I have shown, samadhi part is there, our Brahmanhood domain. Samadhi part is Brahmanhood domain, and for that only we have to go for the meditation aspect of Ashtanga Yoga, where we can say that once we are having, first is alertness. Meditation has got four major parts. One is alertness, then concentration, then meditation, contemplation, and then samadhi. So that way, this is time and space can minimize there if we are going to use that one time and space concept which I was answering about ego system. So we can be very much perfect from our internal, all our internal instrument will be perfected. Yes, suppose once our ego is perfectly dissolved, it has become a sort of Vibhu itself, or it has dissolved so much that it can certainly go to the higher level of two. I was mentioning Bindu has got three levels. One is upper, lower, and middle. So middle means time, space, and causation is at the lower level Bindu, means this Bindu. And if we are very much perfect in that, our ego is completely dissolved, then we can shoot up to here, middle one. And middle one, it has got the Ishvara Tattva. And there we can reach, we can get a sort of glimpse, or we can go for samadhi. But till we are in time, space, and causation level, means third stage or prakriti level, we will not be able to reach to samadhi. I hope I have answered this question. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Definitely.
Yeah.
There is one more thing. Kindly light on Sampragyat Samadhi and or Sampragyat Samadhi context. Sampragyat Samadhi and Sampragyat Samadhi.
Yeah.
There are, we can say in layman's language, let us define that samadhi are very many types, you can say. But Sampragyat Samadhi or Sampragyat Samadhi are the two major we are concentrating. One is we are aware of the world as well as what level we are with the Brahmanhood. Both together is one kind of samadhi, and other samadhi, Sampragyat Samadhi, or Sampragyat Samadhi is forget about the whole universe, be in the complete domain of the Brahmanhood. So that way we can say in short way. Otherwise, once we have to go, it is time consuming, we have to go in a different aspect. But this way we can say that even third triangle, what I have seen, Brahmanhood way. So there only the samadhi starts. And from there we can go to that, but having a sort of link with the Prakriti also, lower one as well as higher one, that is one kind of samadhi. And a second kind of awesome pragyat is completely be with the Brahmanhood. Means 1, 2, 3 has become a sort of Brahman, that is Omkar, getting reinforced by Omkar, and there is no other a sort of any imprints or any functional aspect of Brahman as Prakriti together. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So hope this answers Mr. Alok ji. I'm giving thanks to Mr. Lakshmi Narayan Nagishetty. He is appreciating wonderful presentation and good correlation with logical explanation. Congrats to you. And congratulations to me also for organizing this event. This is a wonderful presentation that he has founded. So thanks for staying connected with us and appreciating us, Mr. Lakshmi Narayan sir. There is a one question from my side to you that we had a talk related to the particle physics during your slides. So can you throw some light on the God particles relevance in the context of yogic solutions related to this? Is there anything?
Yeah, no, that God particles, what they have found in the 2012, they had this hadron collider. In that, they are claiming that they found the God particle. But that
Yes.
God particle, they say that it has got beta decay also. God
Okay.
particle has got not at all any decay. What I was mentioning in that Bindu diagram, God particle is one. One is always one. It will not
Yes.
have even 1 minus delta 1. So it is
Okay.
always God particle has got no diminution, no decay at all. And what they found in 2012, it is not a God particle. It is a particle showing that we can say that they have got along with the particle as they call it Higgs field. So first of all, they are confused. Earlier, they were telling that God particle is the mass giver. Mass is given by the God particle. But in 2012, when they got a sort of ripple of in the field, they put extra energy, and that extra energy has made a sort of ripple. Ripple is nothing but subtlest vibration. That was showing the particle expressed at that time. So that particle could be a special particle, but that cannot be the God particle what they are claiming. It is matter of debatable, but I have already mentioned in a Yoga Raman this Vishwakosh history webinar that it is a question mark. It cannot be God particle. God particle they will get once they will find out the string theory which I mentioned there. That string theory is to be found out, established, because they have not established even mathematical and experimental model fully, because they are having the lacuna about the dimensions. They only go for 4 plus 2 mention some limited dimensions, whereas our Veda and Upanishad tells there are 10 dimensions altogether, four sides and 4 corners, 8, and 1 is top and other is below. So all 10 dimensions, and they also, their scientists are telling that unless 10 dimensions are satisfied, they cannot get the clear picture of string theory. So for that, they have to have the backup of certain Upanishads like Taittiriya Upanishad, and so many Upanishads are telling about that one. And once they are going to correlate with that, then only they will be able to find the God particle. This God particle, what they are telling, and at the same time, they mention that it has got the beta decay. It cannot be the God particle. It cannot be the particle which is one, which is complete, which we call the Purnamada. Purnamada it is complete. It cannot be, and when from Purnamada, Purna, other Purna is taken out as a world, as a universe, still it is Purna. So where is the question of beta decay there? So whatever model I have shown, if you need, I can repeat that model, but that model is clearly says that there they are getting only force carrier as well as field. Field theory is different, but force carrier means only quantum theory they get by the particle physics model what they have given. I hope I've answered.
So it's a more of a concept, because it's there is another thing, sir. So as you are
it is.
complete of I'm moving towards the next question. Hope I'm good audible to you.
I'm
okay.
Listening.
Yeah. From a general man perspective, I'm asking you a question that this is a complete of a Ashtanga yoga. So it is starting from the physical aspects to means body to mind to soul. All these things are connected over here. But as a general man, if I have to start if I have something in mind that how I can be safe if such a kind of a post-leakage crisis has occurred. So what should I do? From where should I start as a general man?
Yeah, I understand. Actually, the person who are not aware of fully yoga, or who are actually all of a sudden caught in the PNLC domain, or nearby something happened, or even suppose mental disturbance is there is one deep breathing I was telling you. Pranic energization technique is higher, but slow and deep breathing. What I mean to say, normally, usually we are taking around 15 to 20 cycles breath in a minute. That is you can anybody can test themselves. But if that breathing in a minute in place of 15 to 20 breath intake or out going breath, if we are reducing to 10 or lower, we are going to tackle most of the mental problem easily. For example, suppose whenever we are insulted, then naturally our breathing is shallow and fast. So if we just give the regulation to, or we tell our mind that, oh no, or not even mind is telling, it is our breath we control. Means we start taking long breath in and long breath out. So then that will become a sort of habit, and once we are inhaling and exhaling for less than 10 or even 10 or less than 15 even, as less as we are going to inhale and exhale in a minute, that much calmness will get easily without practicing any other yoga. That is first. That's why this Svyasa, there is a good this one, SD breathing first for any patient who are coming to Arogya Dhama. In, out. This kind of inhalation, exhalation is giving more stress. This is because it is the fundamental way of keeping our mind calm. At the same time, what happens once we are taking in longer, then we are taking more a sort of oxygen, and that oxygen bombardment, it goes inside and takes out all the impurities once we are exhaling. So that we are purifying. In the post-nuclear leakage crisis also, somewhere I forgot to mention that if we have got this oxygen mask should be brought, because oxygen has to be in pure form, and have the oxygen mask and then do the same thing, inhalation, exhalation, longer one. That nuclear impact, PNLC impact will be reduced or minimized. It will not have any impact. It will have an impact, but very, very minimum impact. So this is the best way of, this is layman's way of explaining in and out or yogic breathing.
Okay.
I hope.
And further of it, we can go to the higher of a level for the complete of our management solutions, if I can say.
Yeah. Higher level means then naturally pranayama, that means we are having bandha, mudra. These are third eye opening. But actually, that is third eye opening. It is once people they would like to go to samadhi or even deep meditation, they should have third eye opening. Third eye opening is a very much essential for samadhi people and all. But these are the basic fundamentals. We should start from slow and deep breathing onwards, pranayama and all. We should go.
Okay, so this is from where everyone can start with, and thereafter the process that can be. If one wants, if one wants to do the further research on this topic, so what could be, from where he can take the resources, or what could be the way for this? Any guideline on this from your side?
Guideline is that suppose if a diseased person they would like to have, I had the well experience with the Svyasa, because I was going through Svyasa since 1976. So there they can take some of the lessons of PET, pranic energization technique, MSRT, mind sound resonance technique, even they call it cyclic meditation. These are the certain techniques they can learn, or they go to any place, or even they can interact with me with my website. We will provide them a guideline. So that can be. But many yogic institutions, I'm familiar with. Even Bihar School of Munger, they are doing some research. Even our means SVR is anyway, this is pioneer in the field of research as well as in practical application of yoga. And similarly, Keval Dham is also doing some, that is already more than 100 years it has achieved. So that institution also can give the guideline.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank
Yes,
you
sir.
for throwing us the light on this. The final last question from my side to you. So I have been enough benefited with this book. I have found it very interesting.
Yeah.
If one want to read this book, this yoga a solution to post-nuclear leakage crisis, where one can find it if one wants to read and purchase and read. So just can you
SB Vivekananda Yoga Prakashana is there in Bangalore in SB. There, this book is available.
Swami Vivekananda Yoga Prakashana, Bangalore. One can go and find this book. That's what it is, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. So wonderful
That is
experience, actually.
Thank you
Anything,
for
sir?
all the sort of encouragement. Not only that, I'm very thankful to Vipin ji, who has given this slot, given his channel, and at the same time, I'm very thankful to you for mobilizing this, as well as very many thanks or pranam to Guruji, Nagendra ji, as well as Ramarao ji and our respected Mishra ji. So with this, let us have the prayer. I think if there is no other question.
No, I'm handing over first to Mr.
Can you go
Nagendra
with that?
Narayan ji. No, I'm handing over to Mr. Nagendra Narayan ji first.
Please.
Then we will, Mr. Nagendra Narayan,
Yeah.
the stage is back to you.
Thank you very much, sir. Pandey sir. Really, whatever the explanation
thank
and
you.
lecture you have given, yeah, that is wonderful, amazing, and that will be helpful for the mankind from generation to generations. Exclusively, this PNLS. So, yeah, Amit ji, sir, we have also my question. Although Amit sir already touches that
Yeah.
question. So, if there is any such a nuclear establishment in the particular area, right, sir? And we already aware about that.
Yeah.
This is also advantage and disadvantage are also. So whatever the things in this world that is existing, that having that is a boon for the humankind and curse for the humankind also in negative when we think about the negative aspects. So my question is, sir, how we can aware the general people that be surrounded near to such type of establishment, so that if there is any such type of crisis, leakage crisis takes place. I mean, when we talk about the PNLS, so how the general people will aware and be careful through the yoga and through the general awareness, sir?
So for that, actually now in India and worldwide, there is a sort of good awareness about yoga, and people have started. So that way, basically, they are now geared up, undoubtedly. And those who are not geared up, they should. Even I'm telling to business people, though they say there is no time, I'm telling them that there is no time, fine. But during business time itself, there is a sort of a management technique that we call it, that during your business time itself, you will find a time how to have the good pranayama and how to have a sort of little meditation, short meditation, how to calm down the mind. Calm down the mind is a very important for any kind of crisis, whether post-nuclear leakage crisis or having the threat of money losing, business losing, even especially with during the COVID-19, this kind of talk was we have already given somewhere, or even some papers have been mentioned. So that way, Mr. Yogic practice to raise our mental level is very important. You know that as I was telling 8 nodal points for the universe, 8 nodal points for the human being, 8 nodal points for the yoga, 8 nodal points even for Paramatma. All are working in the same 8 points. So for us, what are the points we should know about that? What are the points? For example, if we are below navel portion, navel means navi, then we are at least we will be maximum developed and rational level, and we will have a sort of animal instinct development at the same time. Urges are very minimum, but we are a rational human being. But if we come to the heart level, if we keep our mind at the heart level, certainly we are becoming more creative than what we were earlier. So everybody wants to be creative, everybody wants to be dynamic, a sort of dynamic and all. So they must keep our mind, prana and mind, means we can say that, as I was explaining, that energy and the space,
Sir.
up to bare minimum, up to heart level, then naturally that will overcome, that will be a point of overcoming, or we can have the strong, not a strong, but quite a healthy our nervous system, and by that way we can move ahead. As we are going up, means through around throat level, again again chakra level, when Vidhu Visarga level, naturally we are a better man, better a sort of, we are divine man. We can go on increasing our sort of confidence, and we can be a sort of we can achieve even intuitions. I hope
Thank you.
this common
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
people.
Yeah. Definitely, sir.
Yeah.
Very wonderful explanation. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. So really,
Thank you.
whatever the presentation you have and other experts have explained about so I am very thankful to Mr. Amit Chaudhary ji, CTO, Pragyatmika, and for moderating this wonderful session on behalf of Hindustan Hotline News Channel, Card Adapt India, Vishwa Hindi Parishad, Vishwa Magahi Parishad, and these are the social partner and yoga partner, Bharti Yog Vidya, and our expert, guest of honor, Dr. H.R. Nagendra ji, well-known Guruji, guest of honor, another guest of honor, Dr. P. Rama Rao, guest of honor, Dr. B.M. Mishra ji, and our guardian, Abhibhavak, Professor Dr. N. Pandey ji, and our colleague Dr. Bipin Kumar ji. Due to busy schedule, he has not been able to join, but we are very thankful to all our experts. And on this particular topic, post-nuclear leakages crisis, PNLC management solution approach through yoga. So really, it's
Please convey my regard to Bipin ji.
Yes, sir. So yeah,
No, I
on
will
the behalf of
you. Please convey my regard to Bipin ji.
Sir. Sure, sir. Due to busy schedule, Bipin ji not be able to join. He is presently in, I think, in Rishikesh. I have already talked. So once again, we are thankful to all expert, and हृदय तल से हम सब लोगों को आभार अभिव्यक्ति करते हैं हिंदुस्तान हॉटलाइन न्यूज चैनल के तरफ से, विश्व मागाही परिषद के तरफ से, विश्व हिंदी परिषद के तरफ से, प्रयाज्ञात्मिका संस्था के तरफ से, और भारतीय योग विद्या के तरफ से। आज जो है पूरे भारत में मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम श्री राम जी के जन्मोत्सव में पूरा भारत, पूरा विश्व जो मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम राम में विश्वास करते हैं, उनके आचार व्यवहार में, उनके जो कृतित्व में है, तो रामनवमी का जो ये पर्व है, भगवान श्री राम, मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम श्री राम जी के जन्मोत्सव के रूप में जो आज चैत्र नवरात्रि नवमी तिथि को पूरे भारत में, पूरे विश्व में धूमधाम से मनाया जा रहा है। चैत्र नवमी तिथि जो है नवरात्रि का आखिरी दिन, अंतिम दिन होता है, और इसी के साथ आज के दिन ही 9 दिनों का चलने वाला चैती जो है देवी दुर्गा पूजा की जो आराधना किया जाता है, शक्ति देवी की उपासना जो किया जाता है, तो आज वो समाप्त हो जाता है। तो इस शुभ अवसर पे, रामनवमी के अवसर पे, हम समस्त भारतवासी को हिंदुस्तान हॉटलाइन न्यूज चैनल के तरफ से और सब संस्थाओं के तरफ से बहुत बहुत बधाई और हार्दिक शुभकामना प्रेषित करते हैं, और हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि भगवान श्री राम का जो राम राज्य का जो सपना है वो साकार हो, हर जगह शांति हो, हर जगह खुशहाली हो, और सब लोग स्वस्थ रहे, ऐसा हम कामना करते हैं। सब लोगों को एक बार फिर से बहुत बहुत आभार, बहुत बहुत हार्दिक आभार, बहुत बहुत आभार। आपको सर चरण बंदन, पांडे सर।
प्रणाम।
हम लोग अब प्रार्थना के साथ इस कार्यक्रम को समाप्त करेंगे।
जी
शुरू करें?
जी
शुरू करें सर।
ओम ओम सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति
शान्ति।
हरि
ओम।
Thank you all.
ओम।
thank you sir for
Thank you.
so let's close the event. If anyone is having a question further, so you can go through the video and put up your question over there. We will definitely contact back to you. You can leave your email ID over there, or you can leave an email at helpdesk@prakyatmika.co.in also, so that we can answer your queries. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir।
you.
Post.